don't have a cure for AIDS. We have medication, but we can also, I know that the work that we're doing and what you're concerned about is stopping the spread, preventing the spread of HIV and AIDS. And those who are positive, HIV positive, trying to encourage them and help them stay healthy and live healthy, productive lives. So, I'm going to have a little gender slants. Everybody in here knows what HIV AIDS is, right? Alright. Let me talk about some of the root causes for HIV. And like I said, I'm going to have a focus on gender and gender relations, gender, sex, and power. So, I'm a performer. I'm going to get away from the podium. I hope you can hear me. If you can't hear me, I'll come back to the podium, alright? But just let me know. Ever since I was small, I tried to understand what it really, really means to be a man. Because some things I learned since I was a baby, like pink for a girl and blue for me. So I ask myself constantly, what does it really, really mean to be manly in a pink and a blue society? How should I act like a man? How should I act like a man? How should I act like a man? How should I? My daddy, he says, you know, big boys don't cry. My bigger brother, Junior, tried to explain why. He said, in this life, you gotta be rough and tough. Ain't no woman gonna love you. If you are soft, you better act like a man, you better act like a man, you better act like a man, you better act like a man. My homies, they teach me the craftsmanship of how to maintain a relationship. They say, never, ever, ever you let girls know you love them because they'll mess up your whole system. You must always have one or two on the side, and from the main one, those on the side, you must hide. You better act like a man, you better act like a man, you better act like a man, you better act like a man. I've heard this about my coach again, man. My coach, you know, he really liked me. And he taught me how to be manly. He said, you got to learn to keep your pain inside. And when you feel pain, just show that manly pride, you better. Act like a man, you better. Act like a man, you better. Act like a man, you better. The media, the movies, entertainment industry, they teach me about guns, drugs, sex, violence constantly. The magazine ads, the billboards, they go so far. They say in order to be a superstar, you gotta have expensive gear or drive a fancy car. You better act like a man, you better act like a man, you better act like a man. Let me hear you. Act like a man, act like a man, you better. Thank you. So we're born, right? We're born as boys or girls, right? But we're conditioned to be a certain kind of man and a certain woman. And so we fall into those prescribed roles. Pink for girls, blue for boys. Pink is what? When you think of pink, what do you think about? What qualities? Soft, feminine, delicate. Blue? Dark, rough. Okay, so from the crib, in fact, these days from the womb, right? People buy gifts and stuff based on what we are. And so we're conditioned to be a certain kind of man and a certain kind of woman. And so do we have to accept that as men? Of course not. And this work is about challenging men to think differently. Because when you are that kind of man, when you prescribe to the mainstream definition of what men are or men should be, men take silly and stupid risks. Alright? So, for girls, it's different. Big boys don't cry. Girls can cry. They can share their pain. They can share their joys. They can share their sorrows with their friends. If a boy does, how is he labeled? If he cries to his peers? A 15-year-old lost his girlfriend. Can he go to his friends and cry? The girls can do that, right? So we're conditioned in such a way that that leads to a lifestyle that forces us to keep our emotions in, so we don't express how we feel. And so that's why sometimes we do drugs, we get drunk to numb our pain, or some men, only when they're drunk they can express love, or they can express certain emotions, because they've been conditioned in a certain kind of a way. So I want you young men in here to think about that, because when you subscribe to certain lifestyles or certain teachings, you tend to be careless, and you tend to take risks that are unnecessary. So I want to talk a little about the root causes of men being abusive, because I want to talk about abuse and power in sexual relations. Conditioning us in different ways. And so this thing is to encourage young women not to compromise yourself. You don't have to accept. You don't have to accept him having several partners. If he can, then if a woman, a girl has one-on-one partner, what's she called? All sorts of names, right? We don't need to repeat those words, right? But they're really derogatory and dirty. If a guy's got several, what's he called? Player, thumbs up, right? Think about it. And so we condition that type of way. But when a guy has one-on-one partner, what's he doing to his real partner? He's putting her at risk, right? And so sometimes just to belong, girls will take risks and accept risky behavior, including unsafe sex. And we know as how HIV and other STDs are one of the ways that HIV and other STDs are transmitted.